This video is directed to people who have overachieved. This video is directed to captains of industry, people who have been successful in various spheres of life. I'm speaking to content creators. I'm speaking to the entrepreneur. I'm speaking to the business owner, to the artist, to the developer, someone who has actually done something with his life, someone who has put in blood, sweat, tears, and given effort to achieve the outcome he so enjoys. That's who this video directed to. Get to a point in your life where you observe the results, observe the surroundings. By default, it makes you complacent. You get to a point in your life where you ask, is there anything more? You ask this question and you truly believe there is nothing more. Some people, as reason of their environment, taking a step forward or two steps forward is enough because the habitation is so limited such that anything better than previously is magnificent. So these people are limited, not necessarily because they are bad, lazy, or complacent, but their environment lacks the habitation or encourages growth. There are individuals today netting a few millions here and there, corporations netting few millions, and the level of pride in that organization. And there's nothing wrong with feeling a sense of gratification in the results produced by your hard work. The point I'm trying to highlight is the eradication of this complacent mindset, especially when you've achieved next to nothing. Relatively. Results are relative. I'll share with you a story, something that happened recently. I achieved a very huge percentage in the stock market. Very excited, I shared this story with my network. Everybody was excited for me. You mean you had X amount of percentage within this short time? Man, you're good. Excited in a new group. I think I was in the midst of, I can't categorize them for the sake of this video. I would not state their business publicly. But these were big dogs, big guys. And I reiterated that results accomplished. Everybody ignored me, moved on. Yeah, they said, yeah, but the atmosphere and the feedback I got, they didn't see it as an outcome. They didn't see it as some magnificent result. It was common sense to them. Along the line, one of them interjected and mentioned a reality twice superior to what I produced. And this is on average, just in a common day. Every single one of you understands the fact that a certain requisite level of finances recycles amongst our accounts. For some, it's 2 grand, 5 grand, and once in a while, 100 grand. So that 100 grand, that once in a while finances is someone's day-to-day income. Now, I'm using finances as an emphasis, not necessarily to stimulate this desire for materialism or to encourage the philosophy that there's nothing without finances. If you don't have finances, you're nothing, or try to put pressure on you, or highlighting that the best and only metric to measure success is finances. That's far from the point. It's used for illustration purposes on the basis that it is something you and I can both relate with. Instantly, I was humbled. You mean somebody produced twice the amount I celebrate for? I'm not just produce it. on a daily, consistent basis. It's kind of like the time for the average individual who places his confidence on externalities. For instance, the new Apple device. Finally, you walk up to the girl and she's unimpressed. Ever been in situations like that? You shot your last ammunition and the person stands there unmoved. You lose your mind. I bust my butt to get this new Apple device and I come to you, approach you, and you're unimpressed. You become depressed by that encounter because you thought this would solve all your problems. This is not your rest. There is more. I want you to look past what you've done. And it's funny because when we become complacent, we convince ourselves there's no other thing to do. I'm the best communicator. I'm the best content creator. I'm the best businessman. After all, I did XYZ. Brother A, brother B, brother C next door haven't accomplished half of what I've done in a year relative to your lifetime. So I'm good. But you need to sustain the philosophy of John. The Bible says, after this I looked. After this I looked. Meaning from Revelation verse 1, Revelation verse 2, Revelation verse 3, all of the encounters, you will think that this man will be satisfied. Do you know what it means to be carried up and be the direct conduit, jotting down the sights in heaven? And after Revelation part 3, God simply said, step back and allowed this young man to fulfill his desire. Majority of you, based on your demeanor, Revelations would have ended there. I think I'll go down in history as the man who wrote the book of Revelations. I've seen this. No other disciple is privy to my experience. I think we've done enough. Yet, the man said, after this, I looked. For you to look means you have to take your gaze from something and look elsewhere. So for some of you, you have to take your gaze from the current result and look elsewhere. For as long as your gaze is fixated on the past, for as long as your gaze is fixated on what you did previously and you're a shadow of yourself as though there's no conquest, there's nothing more to accomplish, you can never go to the next level, the next phase of your life. Say, after this I looked, and there was a voice saying, come up hither, come up hither, come up hither. It means you are too low. There is something they want to give you, but the communication can't be given at lower echelons of society. You have to come up. You come up, come up, come up. And when you ascend, certain things become subconscious. You would not realize when you started working in certain realities, certain dimensions of wisdom, certain dimensions of wealth. If you have to consciously stop doing something or introduce a new reality, it means you're not there. I ask people this question. Did you consciously, in fact, let's zoom this example to Africans. There's sachet water, there's bottled water. Bottle signals higher status. Sachet is for the peasants, the bourgeoisie of society. And I ask people living at the upper echelons of society, did you consciously decide to stop taking that quality of water, or did you grow? I grew. I had no idea when I stopped taking this quality. I had no idea when I transitioned from sachet to bottle. All I was focused on was getting ahead. And as a consequence, when I moved environments, when I changed, it became difficult to get access to sachet. So I started with bottled, and from there, it's just common sense. If you still have to force your way through things, it means you're not there. You're not there. For instance, I want to make a purchase and I have to take money from this account and that account and this account. I'm not there. That reality is not in my experience. I'm forcing things. The real way to get things is to grow. Fake life is expensive. It is cheaper to be authentic. It is cheaper to be authentic. Let's not diverge. The initial discourse of tonight's recording is to stir the desire, the hunger that there's something more, that this isn't the best you've done. Thank God for $2 million, 200 grand, 100 grand. Thank God for the exponential growth your companies have experienced. Thank God venture capitalists are interested in your idea. Thank God for all the realities you experience up until this point. But I'm here to remind you that this is not your rest. This isn't your best. There is more. History is replete with stories of successful people who crashed down as a consequence of the complacent mindset. There are athletes today who, at the height of their career, they were at every event, going from one party to the other party. Within a matter of time, they folded like a circus leaving town. They were so involved in parties that they forgot the consecration demands that led them up until that point. They were so absorbed by this newfound fame that they forgot it was the reading, it was the consuming of content, it was the strategy, it was the relationship that was being built, it was the price of hard work, effort, every single thing they did. They forget and they somehow believe they were meant for this. It should happen natural. I shouldn't put in any effort. It is mine. That's not how the way the world works. This is not your rest. I'll give you two keys that consciously reminds you of this teaching. Involving as well as the application of these keys will prove valuable beyond imagination. I believe your result in all spheres is what gives you authority to address matters. I have experience in this sphere. I have done things. Take this YouTube channel, for instance. It's not my greatest accomplishment, but it's something you can see right now. The discipline, the persistence, the quality of videos. Every single video is an improvement of the previous. The growth, the knowledge being experienced. So the first key to becoming or to maintaining your hunger for life and destiny is vision. Vision. My people perish because of the lack of vision. Vision. Once you lack vision, you lack motivation, you lack discipline. There are other components that come into play as a consequence of the absence of vision. It's very difficult to be motivated and disciplined when there's nothing to walk up to. You have no idea where your actions are laddering up. You can take the right actions, you can go the right place, but the chances of arrival is very slim because you have no idea what you're doing. It becomes, even though you arrived, it becomes difficult to replicate that result in the life of another person. Vision of what you want to be. Vision is the easiest way to remain hungry and motivated. When people cheer for me today and To me, I've not started. There are a lot of things to do. This is just one step out of the cave. There are a lot of conquests. There is so much to do. I do not consider this result. Vision will help you stay motivated. That even in the midst of $1 billion, you would celebrate and pat yourself at the back, but with the consciousness that there is more. There is more. This is not where I rest. Remember, after this, I look. After the 1 billion, I look. After the 2 billion, I look. After the accolades, I look. Businessman, sir, this was one of the best podcasts. I've never seen it said in this fashion. Your content, you're very creative. Uh, Actress, you had the ability to portray such emotions in the video. This is the best, and you stupidly sit down and enjoy. A visionary person would pat himself on his back and fire on. Which leads us to number two. Number two is discipline. Discipline. Without discipline, you're nothing. Leading up to this video, even leading up to the channel, there are times where I wanted to give up. There are times where I felt no desire to create content. I was sick, my head ached. I wanted to lay down for a bit. But guess what happened? I still did it. Not out of motivation or all of these abstract concepts. Discipline. Discipline is what keeps you in check. For the sake of time, we wouldn't elaborate as much as we want. As always, my friends, a pleasure speaking to you. I'll see you in the next one.